All right, not yet, Miss Robinson. She ready to go. All right. Good evening, everybody. Everybody in Los Angeles, everybody on the Central Time Zone, Eastern Time Zone. Thank you so much for jumping on tonight. Tonight we're going to be having a really special discussion with a young lady out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She actually works with a company that I actually got started with several years ago, and I wanted her to join us this evening so she can help us understand some of the new tax credit laws and some of the new credit information and credit restoration information that might be available to us that I am not currently privy to. With the new administration in office, there's a lot of challenges that we're having
Oh my.
in our current.
Maybe he was hiding something.
Yeah,
Maybe they were hiding
Oh,
something.
he killed
let me go
somebody.
ahead and put you on mute, Miss Rivera. Thank you so much for being on. With so many of the challenges that are going on in the economy right now, it is really, really good for us all to be equipped with the information to help us protect ourselves from a lot of the pitfalls that I do foresee coming in the near future. So, this young lady, she's been in the industry for about 10 years. We actually started out in similar companies many years ago. And here we once again have found ourselves. I got someone else that's I'm gonna mute you out, Miss Reagan. Who else is that? Okay, yeah. So somebody's got me on a feedback loop there. That's interesting. So let me hurry up and shut up. So she's been in the industry for about 10 years, and she's going to be helping you understand your credit right now. So she's got a really, really great presentation. Please take as many notes as you can, ask as many questions as you can, and without further ado, I'll give you Miss Brenda Robinson of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Can you hear me there,
Well,
Miss
good
Robinson?
evening. Yeah, can you hear me?
I hear you clearly. You got the floor.
Okay, good evening, good evening. So let's clarify. I am from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, where Jesus
My,
was
my,
born.
my bad. My bad.
So tonight I'm going to discuss about your path to credit repair and how to use it, recover it. I like to start by letting people know where did credit reporting start? How did credit reporting start? A lot of people don't know. Let's see if I can shorten this. Credit reporting began with a young man named Lewis Tappan, who founded the Mercantile Agency in 1841. This agency, later known as Dun and Bradstreet, provided just for businesses with information about credit worthiness for customers. When and why did credit reporting start? Credit reporting started in 1841 because business needed to have a reliable way to access creditworthiness for their customers. So, particularly, it came because of a trade. So, Lewis Tappan sought it to reduce the risk, improve the financial decisions of merchants by creating a system to share information about payment and habits of financial stability. So this is how the credit report agencies began. It became with Equifax. Now, Equifax tracks credit history to create credit reports and calculate your scores. Experian gathers, evaluates financial data to offer insight to credit risk. Experian complies with credit data and adding lenders and making decisions. TransUnion offers credit reports and monitor credit activity for consumers. So that means credit cards. Experian normally handles automobile, homes, and that's how they get your credit report through those credit agencies. Now, how does things get on your credit report? Now, credit report activity, lenders and credit cards and companies and report your payment history. Two, information is accurate and timely, supposedly reporting to ensure your credit reports and reflect current debts and payments. Now, you have to remember that everybody do not report on your credit report. That's why sometimes you have credit and it's not on your history because all companies do not report. Fees and reporting and business pay to report. Businesses pay, remember that, businesses pay to report on your credit. So sometimes business do not put on your credit report because they do not want to pay for the history. Now, a lot of people say, when I look at my credit score on FICO, it's totally different from Advantage because it's two reporting differently. The ranges are different, the amounts are different, and everything is different. So you always not going to have the same credit report. A lot of people say my credit report is 710, but then when I look at Experian, it may say 650 because a lot of things are not being reported and it's not the same. FICO score was created by the Fair Isaac Corporation in 1989, right? So this score was weighed on a payment history of 35% old, 30% length, and 15% new credit. So that's how the FICO score is done. The Vantage score is developed jointly by three major credit reports. They combine everything together, and that's why your Vantage score is always lower. Ownership of credit bureaus. Now, Equifax is in the United States and is ran by a stock ticker, EFX, but Experian is in the country of Ireland that keeps up with your credit score here in the United States. And that is ran by a stock ticker, EXPN. TransUnion is also in the United States. Ownership and benefits of the Bureau. Now, credit bureaus must handle consumers' disputes at their own expense. Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, bureaus cannot change or charge us for investigating errors. That's why I tell people dispute, 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 because it doesn't cost you anything. But it costs companies. Every time you dispute something, Experian charge them. So just dispute, 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 because eventually they may get tired of responding back and just forget about it. So the credit bureau spend approximately $10 to $15 per dispute to investigate. Let me go back. So what happened was, once they started this credit reporting thing, it was hard for us to dispute anything. So that's why the Fair Credit Reporting Act came about, because we couldn't get anything off. Whatever, if I could have written something and said, Mr. Whitfield owed me $100, he couldn't dispute it. They would try to make him pay me. So that's why the Fair Credit Reporting Act came, that you had to prove that I was owed that money. So this is how it came about and why the Fair Credit Act was needed, because companies was just putting things on, and you know how typing stuff can be always not come out accurate. So that's why it has to be, now it has to be proven. So a lot of people hear that word bureau. Bureau is not mandatory. It is no such thing, is no law to have anything on your credit report. There is no law. There's no law. It is not mandated for anything to be reported on your credit. It's just a business that was put in effect that's making money. Reporting helps creditors assess your risk, and that's the only reason why. There is no board, there is no government. Understand your credit report. You have free tools. A lot of people don't even know this, that since COVID has started, you can actually get your annual credit report every 7 days. You can go right to annualcreditreport.com and pull your credit. It won't give you a score, but it definitely will give you what's on your credit. I tell people you should monitor your credit like you do your bank account. You should know exactly what's on your credit. 9 times out of 10, people don't know what's on their credit until it's time to buy something. You should use a monitoring system. Don't use free credit. What is that company that everybody always using? Oh, I use this. That's not free. They don't give you any accuracy. So I would suggest that you go to annual credit report because it's accurate. Ownership and benefits of credit bureau. Like I told you before about Equifax, it's a public trade. Experian is part of a PLC. It's a global information service firm. TransUnion is also publicly traded. It's shareholders. It's owned. It's a business. They do not work for you. Mistakes where I find is how to avoid them is late payments. I always see a lot of late payments. If you have something that's going to come out of your checking account or savings account monthly, you should just set it up. That way you will not have late payments. That's like 50 to 60 points. High credit utilization. Just because you get a credit card for $500 does not mean for you to spend the $500. It's only supposed to be, I tell people, do 10%. And that always keep your utilization down low. Applying for too much credit is always bad. Strategies and regain financial control. Having a budget is not a curse. Create a budget to track your income and expenses. Identify areas where you can cut back and allocate more funds towards your debt repayment. Debt consolidation is the worst thing you can do. I find a lot of people come to me that has done debt consolidation. Debt consolidation is nothing but a mini bankruptcy. Once you consolidate your debt with people, all you're doing is stopping all of your credit. It's best for you to call your company that you owe and make arrangements with them, because that's all debt consolidation do, is make arrangements for you and don't pay off anything until you pay them. Negotiate. You can negotiate with anybody. You can negotiate with your telephone people. You can negotiate with your gas company. You can negotiate with anyone. If you having hardship, it's best for you to call and say, I need time to pay you. Stop allowing them to cut off things and then it's too late. Always remember you can negotiate to avoid anything. Understanding your credit repair. Credit repair companies specialize in reviewing your credit reports and disputing inaccuracy information with credit bureaus on your behalf. They act as intermediaries between you and your creditors. There's pros about that. Professional service can navigate and complex credit issues. We can handle it efficiently because we have a system that can do that for you. Can you do it on your own? Of course you can. Anything can be done on your own. You can build a home if you want to. That's why you have Home Depot. So anything can be done on your own if you have the time. If you know the laws, you can do it. Service typically costs $50 to $100 a month with no guarantee for results. All disputes, processes, and communication, they are legal and available to you at no cost through the Fair Credit Reporting Act if you have the time. But before you hire anyone with anything, verify their license, read their consumer reviews, and like I always tell you, I don't think there's no company without a bad review. So check your companies with the Better Business Bureau, and on there too, there's no company that doesn't have one review that's not good, because you can't please everybody. Avoid companies that ask for a large amount of money. I know some people have said they paid $2,500 up front. to get their credit restored. But always check. Now, this is the average person, how they do a credit presentation. They always tell you what your payment history should be. 35% your track record of paying your bills on time. 30% is for your credit utilization. 15% is the length of your credit history. 10% should be mixed. And 10% should only be new credit. Your credit after foreclosure, I always suggest, even if you don't have anything in foreclosure, secure cards is the best thing to me because it builds credit. Most of us spend our money on our debit card. That does not build any history. So if you took $300 and kept transferred over to a secure card, you are building history with that. Your debit card does not build anything. So always have a secure card. Do not close any cards out. If you ever close a card out, your credit is going down. Apply for credit builder loans. There are some loans that you can build your credit up with. Once you have your credit built up, then you can stop using that. But it is some loans that you could use. I have a system that people now are paying rent. That rent could be a port on your credit history. So that way you'll have like a loan. It looks like you're paying somebody, but you're paying your rent, which is a very good thing because rent now is up to $3,000 a month. So you can have that on your credit report. And it's less than $100 to start and less than $8 a month. You can also ask a friend or a family member with good credit to add you as an authorized user, not saying that you're using their card, but they're just on there for history. That's basically my presentation. I have a team of credit experts that provide with personalized and guide and support. And you can contact me if there's something that you need to know about credit. My name is Brenda Robinson, and I'm here to chat if you have any questions.
I definitely have one. Thank you so much for that. There's definitely been some changes since the last time I did a credit presentation of this level of detail, so I really appreciate everything you shared. But if you can do me a favor and go back to the slide that shows the pyramid one more time. Yeah, there you go. So can you explain a little bit more about credit mix, please?
A credit mix would be a credit card, a car, a home.
Mhm.
Those are mixes.
I
Loans.
Miss Annette has a question as well. One second, Miss Annette. So to be clear, a lot of times people think because they have multiple credit cards that that's a mixture. That's not. It's the same thing, right? So I just wanted to make
No.
sure she pointed that out. Miss Annette, you have a question. Miss Morris, a question, please.
So I have a couple of cards that have like one has like an annual fee and the other one has like a monthly fee of like $12. And I wanted to close those out because I don't want to pay the $12 a month and then I don't want the annual fee of 79. But you just said don't close out cards.
So, yeah. So what I would do, how long have you had the cards?
Uh, Probably maybe 5 years plus.
Call them and say, I've had this, I have been, with you guys for over 5 years and I've been paying $79. Could you cut that fee for me, please? And with the $12 one too, that monthly one. Yeah, call them because they don't want you to leave.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
close it, how long do your credit score drop?
So say like, okay, say the $79 one. How much is your limit on the $79 one?
Just 1,500.
1,500, just 1,500. That's a lot. So how much is your debt ratio? How much do you owe right now in your debt ratio?
It's probably at 9.
So if you at 9,000, right? Or 900 or
900, 900.
900. So if you so you owe 900 out, right?
That's
So
60%.
at 1,500, that's going to drop that 900 down like you owe, because that's helping. That 1,500 is helping you. You see what it is? It's helping you. That 1,500 is helping you a lot. So you would have to pay off everything to try to get your credit not to go down, because it probably would drop like 100 points. Because that's
Just,
history. You're giving up 5 years of history.
yeah, because normally when I get my tax return, I normally like pay all those down to 0. Um, and then this year I said, you know what, I just want to get rid of it because I don't want to pay those fees. To me, especially when it's at 0 and I'm still paying you $12 a month, that's free money.
I don't understand that. I would definitely call them. I don't know who that is. I can see the $79 because they do have annual fees with that. But I definitely would call them before you close it, because that's helping you too. It's history. You don't want to get rid of your history.
Miss Annette, does that $79 card offer any cashback allowances or anything like that?
I believe so, but I don't use the cash back.
Well, the reason
Oh,
why I
you say,
mentioned,
oh, cash back. Oh, I mean when you
yeah,
use it,
Yeah,
no, it
no?
doesn't.
Okay, okay. Miss Robinson, I have another question for you.
go ahead.
Miss Reagan is asking you to give an example of a credit builder loan.
Um, okay, a credit builder loan would be with your bank. They have some banks have, I wouldn't say it's like a credit card. So say they give you a max of $1,500, right? But you don't have to spend that $1,500. It's just set over there. So that's like a loan until you start using it. A lot of banks give that out on your checking account. So I don't know. They call it like a loan, but you're not using it.
So it's
Right.
like a line of credit.
Yeah, like a line of credit.
Okay.
A lot of banks
Okay.
give that on your credit card, on your savings, on your checking account. So it's like a line of credit and it's just sitting there.
Okay.
Did anyone else have
Thank
any other
you.
questions? I see Miss Rivera, Miss Vanessa Rivera there. Are you there, Miss Rivera? Did you have any questions? She might be on standby. I see Tawana there. Hi, Tawana. I see the big old smile. You have any questions?
Hi, no questions.
Well, if no one else is going to
Okay.
ask questions, I got bags of them. So,
I have one. I have
okay,
one.
okay, Linda.
Okay. Because I've heard it, but I don't know if it's, some extenuating circumstances. But when you have debt and then it gets bought out or taken over by a whole different company, is that something we can pay attention to, or can we get that written off when
You
we?
should. Okay, so first of all, if somebody buys your debt and
Mm-hmm,
then try to make you pay for it,
mm-hmm,
that's not your debt. So that's why you can dispute things. So if somebody purchased your debt, did they purchase your contract too? 9 times out of 10, they didn't. So when you dispute something and you tell them this is not, I don't owe John Doe any money. Could you have them to send my contract where I have been paying them? 9 times out of 10, they don't have that. So how
okay,
could you pay them something that you never got from them? Some companies now do sell the contract too, but they actually work for that company. But these little places that's buying debt, they're not buying your contract.
Okay, so as
So
long
you
as
can't dispute it, but you got to keep disputing it. Just one time is not going to come off.
So the company that buys old debt, if they don't also buy the contract that came with that debt, are you saying to
Yeah,
keep
what do you owe
disputing
them?
it?
Disputing it until they. Equifax is supposed to mandate that part to say, show me the contract that she owes you. If they can't show you that, you can, who are you paying? What are you paying for?
What about if the debt was picked up by a debt collector?
So who is the debt collector? Who unless Macy's have their own debt collector. So that means they have the contracts.
Oh,
Right?
gotcha.
You
Okay.
see what I'm saying? So
Uh-huh.
if it's somebody that I just started a debt collecting company, I'm not going to get the contracts from anybody because I'm just paying you for that money. And it's only say like you may have owed $500 and I may pay them $35 for that contract. It's not that they pay that whole $500.
Mm-hmm.
They pay little of nothing on the dollar. And the sad part about it is that these companies, they write that debt off.
Right.
And by law, they supposed to send you, I don't know, I think it's a 1096 or something at the end of the year to say that you owe that. So it's written off. It's a charge off. So
So if it's
what are you
charged
trying to,
off, they cannot send you the tax document.
they can't send you the tax document.
Okay.
They're not supposed to.
Not supposed
That's
to.
law. Now that's the law right there.
All right. Tawana's been waiting to have a question answered. Ms. Tawana, please ask your question.
Hi. So someone asked me this before, and I didn't really know the answer to it because I'm not all the way good with my own credit card. But when you have a balance on there, should you and you want to just pay it all off, is that good or bad? Like,
You can pay it off, but always use the card because they can close the card out if you're not using it. And then you
so
lose history. So say you pay your card off, then buy gas, $10 or candy or something, whatever it is, and just pay it off.
okay,
You can
I'll
keep
let her know.
paying it,
'Cause she
but
asked me
just
that because
don't
I was
pay it off and never use it again.
okay, I'll let her know.
You
Thank
always
you.
want to keep a little history on there so they won't close the card out because they'll see that you're not using it and they'll just go and close it.
Okay, so thank you for
You're
her question.
welcome.
Now, for me on a personal level, I pretty much pay like the minimum because I don't really use my card much, so I guess I'll start utilizing it more. But just the 10%, like you said. But I pay like the bare minimum per month. Is that good or bad?
Well, then you're paying interest. So I don't know what your bare minimum. Do you owe only $100?
No, I don't really use that card, so I don't really owe anything on it. The balance is there, but like I can't. I guess I'm paying the interest, like you said. Okay, all right. Thank you.
So if it's little, you're paying little to nothing for interest.
Okay.
You know,
If
I want
that's
to
what you
jump.
want to
I
do.
want to jump in there real quick, if Miss Robinson, if you don't mind. So, I
Okay.
hear these questions about how to use the credit card, right? So, in the beginning of her presentation, she mentioned, the use of your personal debit card versus your credit card. You got monthly expenses all the time, right? You know you're going to use them, right? So, one of the things I used to teach is when you're trying to build your credit, use the expenses that you already are doing every month, right? So if you have your budget, right? If you I hope you have a budget. So if you have your budget and you know that you're budgeted $50 a month for subscriptions, Netflix, Hulu, whatever. You're budgeted $50 for your cell phone. You're budgeted $50 for a gym membership or whatever. That's $150. You know you're going to be paying that every month. So instead of using money that you could lose, which is your money, why not use the credit card company's money to cover your expenses that you know you're going to be paying every month? She mentioned that earlier as well. What's happening is because you're using your normal monthly expenses to help build your credit, but you're using a credit card. So if you lose the credit card, so what? Right? Get another one. But if you lose your debit card and someone goes on a shopping spree and the banking institution doesn't pay your money back, that money's gone. But you can use a credit card, pay your monthly expenses, and then at the end of every month, instead of you using your debit card to pay each of those entities as you go along, use your debit card to pay the credit card company every 30 days, which helps you build your credit, what helps you make sure you protect your personal income and your personal cash, leaving your money in your checking account or your savings account, right? But you definitely want to be able to make sure that you're getting the best use of your credit, because active credit utilization will help to build your credit score. And Miss Tammy, I see you right there. But I just wanted to make sure that was clear. So make sure you're using the credit card to your advantage. I also mentioned, if you get any kind of a cash back situation, because some people, you're paying the $29 fee or the $79 fee to be able to use some of the benefits of a credit card. If you are not using the benefits of those credit cards, a good example, I get 3% back when I go to the grocery store, right? Well, I'm a day shopper. I go to the grocery store like 5 times a week. So it benefits me to use that credit card because I'm getting 3% cash back on my purchases, which ends up, that $79, or in my case, it's $29. The $29 becomes totally worth it to me to be able to get that 3% cash back, because that equates to several $100s over the course of a year, right? So you definitely want to take a look at that, and I think that'll be a benefit to you. So next question is coming from Miss Tammy. Tammy, what's your question, love?
So my question is in regards to the secured card when you're trying to rebuild your credit. Do the same rules apply as far as paying it off? So I've always been told, if you use any credit card, don't wait till the due date to pay it just before the due date and pay it all off. So if you're trying to build credit, I would imagine the same rules would apply for a secured card, or is that not the case?
That would supply for the Cougar. And I have another trick. When you're paying your credit cards, do half and half. So say like your credit card is due on the 15th. On the first, pay $25, and then your 15th, pay the difference. So it looks like you're paying double of the month, and they like you looking more responsible because it's an algorithm that they keep. So you pay half and then pay another half and just keep doing that monthly. Yes. So you want to keep your amount on your secure card. So if your secure card is 500, you want to always keep that. And you also can add more on a secure card. It just looks like you have more money in there.
But you would pay it off. So
Yes.
for example, I have car repair done on my car. If I charge it to that card, I want to pay that off before the due date.
Yes, you do. Or before the due date.
Yes. Okay. I just wanted to make sure there weren't any different rules for secured cards. And can you recommend, are there banks or financial institutions that have better security than others?
They are a lot of new. I can send that. I don't have the list, but I can send that list. They have a lot of them, even with 3% now, that they give back when you spend money. There's a lot of good ones out there now. Even with traveling, they give you money on travel, hotel. There's a lot of good secure cards out.
Excellent. I've seen a few of those.
Thank you.
Before I move forward, let me give a couple of shout outs. Commissioner Robbie, thank you so much for being on today. Before we get out of here, I want to give Commissioner Robbie about 90 seconds. She's got something special for all us Los Angeles County residents, the ladies of Los Angeles County. I wanted her to be able to mention that. So Miss Annette, Reagan, Who else is on here? Miss Lawana is another person I want to give a shout out to. Uh, Real quick, Miss Robbie, if you can go ahead and share something real quick before I move forward.
Okay, first of all, thank you so much for having me on this afternoon. Hello, everybody. It's really good to virtually see you all and meet you all. Excuse me one moment. I was talking and trying to swallow.
It does happen.
Can't walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. So, what Tony is referring to is the annual Miss Single Mom Empowerment Forum that my nonprofit hosts each spring. This is our Mother's Day gift for the single mothers in the community. So I want to encourage all of you to please share my information. And Tony, would you please send them a copy of the flyer invitation?
I will.
Each and every single mother in our communities is invited to attend this event. This event is absolutely amazing. It is a day filled with expert speakers and so many different success strategies to facilitate the success of the single moms in our communities. This is our ninth year. It's being hosted at the Long Beach Airport Marriott in the Grand Ballroom, and the price is a whopping $0 to attend. Because, as I mentioned earlier, this is our pre Mother's Day gift to the single moms in the community. And my personal goal every year is to pack that ballroom with as many moms as I can to provide them with information such as what Tony has shared with you this afternoon. Information to facilitate the success of our demographic. Because as we know, there's single moms everywhere. And she's not just the inner city girls having babies out of wedlock. Yes, she's her, but she's also all the widows, all the divorcees. You know, we have single moms everywhere, and they just need a helping hand, and we are there to provide that helping hand up. So thank you so much for that quick minute elevator pitch, Tony. Tony will be there with us this year as one of our vendors. So I'm really, really excited to have you join us, Tony. And if you have any questions for me or whatever, Tony, please give them my contact information, share that flyer invitation, and I hope to see some of the people on the call today, as well as any of your contacts on April the 19th in the beautiful city of Long Beach.
Thank you so much for that. I got a chance to meet Commissioner Robbie playing dominoes last week, and she kind of kicked my butt a little bit, y'all. She did.
Well,
She
I
did.
wasn't going to tell him that, but since you mentioned it.
Well, Linda will disagree, but I don't really have an ego. I might be arrogant, but I don't have an ego. So if you beat me, you beat me. It is what it is. Um,
Oh,
I have
it
another.
is what it is.
It is what it is. I have another person that I wanted, and don't, Miss Robinson, don't leave because I got one more question for you because I want you to close this out for us. But I can't move forward without acknowledging Miss Lawana Hills. Miss Lawana Hills, she works with Supervisor Holly Mitchell, and I'm really excited about what Supervisor Mitchell is doing because she's got her social justice empowerment programs where she's actually teaching a lot of people a lot of the similar information that we're sharing in this discussion today. But she's also delving into the various conversations with authors and lawyers and various political leaders to help us truly understand how the current situation is impacting our communities. If I can give her another 90 seconds just to introduce herself and talk a little bit about what Supervisor Mitchell is doing, I really would appreciate that. She didn't know I was going to do this, but I'm good at that. Go ahead, Miss Hills.
You gotta keep me warned. I gotta stay
Oh,
ready because
you
I
got to stay
working
ready.
with you, it's gonna be a problem. I gotta stay ready. I got your email. Happy to see what you all are doing. Of course, we're always very interested in what's happening in District 2. So like to promote things like this, educating people. Um, so I am Supervisor Mitchell's Child and Human Services deputy. And so I started in November, been on board, and ever since been really involved with the racial justice learning exchange that happens every month. We have one coming up this month on Thursday. So each month they showcase different topics that deal with things that are happening, the disparities that's happening in our communities, how we look at things differently. This month it's going to be about what is this month? Aging and disabilities is this month coming. So they look at the month that I'm part of, that I'm planning, is in May. We're dealing with violence in various neighborhoods and how it impacts our community. So each one of them is pretty significant in the amount of research that goes into it because they want to present the facts to the community to let them know what's happening and just educate them about being empowered to use your voice to make change. So I'm really happy to be part of the team and excited about which directions we're moving. And thank you for my 90 seconds.
Before we let her go, may I have your email address, please?
Sure, you want me to put it in the chat?
Yes, that would be great.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And we've all been to church, and the pastor will say, "We're going to give you 2 minutes," right? And no one ever does the 2 minutes. It's always like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That was almost exactly 90 seconds, Miss Hill. So you're quite awesome. I'd like to
I got
bring
it
Miss
down.
Robinson back on real quick because I had one more question before closing it out with her. And please, everyone, check the chat room. Miss Robinson, she shared her contact information, her website information, because if you have any questions directly for her, she is the credit specialist here. So if you have any credit questions, please feel free to reach out to her. Thank you so much for Commissioner Robbie for joining us and inviting. Unfortunately, a lot of you are in. I believe one person's in Pennsylvania. We got other people in Texas. If you just happen to be in town on April 19th, come on out because you're going to get spoiled rotten. Commissioner Robbie is top tier people, and I look forward to this opportunity to be surrounded by all those single mothers, all by myself. Well, maybe not by myself. Miss Robinson, are you still there?
I am here.
I want you to do one more favor for me because I'm actually a little foggy on this, and you'll be helping me out in my presentations. So going back to the credit card discussion, you have what is called revolving credit. That's usually a credit card, but you also have installments or not revolving but rotating credit. So can you tell the audience the difference between revolving credit and installments?
So installment loans is an installment. That means that they set the amount. If they gave you $14,000, they're telling you you got to pay me $300 a month until you pay me back. That's an installment.
Mm-hmm.
So when they say revolving credit, that's when it goes up and down. So I've given you a credit limit, but that means your payments may go up and they may go down.
Mm-hmm. And you have to make sure you
Right.
pay that off because the
You
point
pay
that I'm
that
trying
off.
to drive home is the credit card is not a loan. It's not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And because it's not a loan, you're not going to be paying a credit card in installments is going to end up. Oh, the flyer. She just shared the flyer. Thank you so much. Paying the credit card in installments is going to end up making you pay for that credit card or that balance for years longer than you have to, right? So
Mm-hmm.
one of the points that I wanted to discuss, and this is, and I got a couple of my agent and teammates on this line today, right? So when we are doing what is called a personal financial checkup, right? When we do the personal financial checkup, we're actually looking at people's current financial situation. And one of the questions I ask them is, do you know your FICO score? The
Right.
reason why this is important is because if you know say you know your FICO score. I know my FICO score, Tony, I got it. What is your FICO score? My FICO score is 555. Okay? Well, if your FICO score is 555 and you just purchase a car, if they will allow you to purchase a car with a FICO score of 555, the interest rate that you're getting on your car on your car insurance, on possibly your rent, anything that you might have revolving or installment payments on, the interest rates are going to be very excessive. So what ends up happening is you're paying a certain amount of money over what you really have to. So when you work with someone like Miss Robinson, and Miss Robinson gets you from that 555 to a 620, to a 649, to over a 720 perhaps, right? Now that you're over 720, from 555 to 720, that's a big, huge jump. What ends up happening is you go from a D minus credit to an A level of credit. So you contact some of the financial institutions and say, hey, I got my credit situation worked out. Can I lower those interest rates? You call them up and make sure you can get them to allow you to lower your interest rates. So now you might have had a payment for your car of $800, but that's because your interest rate was 24%. But now that your FICO score is over 720, now your payment will be something like $600. What do you do with that extra 200 bucks? That's the question. So one of the things that I like discussing during the PFC is when people are looking at trying to overfund an IUL or trying to get a term policy or a whole life policy, whatever, they want to find out, they're trying to figure out where the money's coming from. You're already spending it. We just need to teach you how to reallocate some of those funds into a product that's more conducive to your financial future. So being able to understand more about your credit situation, being able to help people understand more about their credit situation will help us as life insurance producers to be able to convey to our clients how they'll be able to use the money that they're already spending to be able to secure an additional income stream in their retirement. They'll have their living benefits available to them if they have a qualifying illness. You have a situation where you have some money to bequeath to your family members after God calls you home, right? So these are things that they could have right now. We're always worried about, well, I won't have the money until here or then or later, but you're already spending the money. So I really appreciate Miss Robinson being on because as producers, it is important that we understand the entire financial picture, not just our section of it. Because oftentimes when people are looking at getting life insurance protection or some kind of protection in general, they're so busy worried about, Miss Robinson mentioned the rent being $3,000 right now. It's insane, right? They're thinking about the gas bill being paid. They're thinking about the light bill being paid. They're thinking about covering the cost of eggs right now. You got people selling eggs and buying cars with them. That's not true. It's a joke. Right? But the bottom line is you have a situation where we need to be smarter with how we're using our money. And if we can use good debt to protect us from, burning up our own dollars, I think that's a great way to do this. So Miss Robinson, I thank you so much for joining us today. Does anyone else have any additional questions before we get out of here? Reagan, yes, ma'am.
Sorry. Okay. So my final question is, does Miss Robinson recommend a particular secure card?
I do. I just don't have the list. That's why I gave you my phone number. If you text me, I'll give you the list that I have. I have 3 that I recommend normally.
I got it right
And
here.
also, if you know anybody that's paying rent, they need to get on that, get their rent history reported. It helps their credit so much. I've seen people credit go up at least 30 to 40 points. Because
I can attest to that. I use Rental Karma.
Yeah. So what they'll do is put 2 years on there. So if your rent is $3,000, just say they'll do that first 24 month and dump it on your credit score.
And it will go in as 24
Are you saying that they'll go back?
Time payment.
They'll go back up to 2 years.
Oh, they'll go back up to 2 years. Nice. Okay.
How about
that?
And
I'll send you that information too. I have a code that you can get a percentage off of that. So I try to help people, and like you were saying that I normally ask people when they come to me, let me see their bank statement, and then I can show them where they can save money, because people don't know what they're paying. They don't know how much prescriptions they have. It's like, it's really sad about people and money.
Brenda, I put my you know, a little bit of my job title and my email address over here in the chat.
Okay.
Right.
Under
I'll
your
take it.
information.
I'll take a screenshot of it now, so that way
Okay.
I'll have it. Okay.
That's a good idea. Taking a screenshot. We got Brenda at cdrconsultantsllc.com. She shared her phone
Yeah.
number 484-937-2569. Commissioner Robbie, she shared the flyer for the women's and the single mothers empowerment forum on April 19th here in beautiful Long Beach. If anyone happens to be around, come on down. I'll be there. I will not be a woman, but I'll be the bald milk dud over there, just trying to be cool. So, did anyone else have any
And
more
Tony,
questions?
you'll be able to show us. Tony, you'll be able to show us a full size flyer, the empowerment flyer.
Let me see if I can do it now. I wonder.
Okay.
I wonder how I can do that. Let me see. Let me. You know what? Give me 2 seconds so I can see if I can figure out how to do this. You know, I want to
Okay.
be. No, I can't because I'm actually recording right now. So, what I'll do, let me go ahead and close out. Okay. So, thank you everybody for joining us today. Thank you so much for Brenda Robinson for joining us. Thank you so much, Commissioner Robbie, for sharing your information. Miss Lawana Hills for Supervisor Holly Mitchell's office. And with that, I'm going to say thank you so much. I'm going to close this out, and I look forward to everybody joining us next week. I'm going to have Pastor Dr. Lori Gibbons. She's going to be talking about the 2025 Republican budget and how that affects us in our tax situation. So we want to be able to get more people to jump on that, because how we are taxed is really going to be interesting over this next few years. So I want everybody to be able to join that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda.
You're absolutely
Thank you
right.
all.
So
God bless.
I'm okay.
Thank
Stopping the
you.
recording now.